Hello everyone, Derek Stam Toys, and we are back with another action figure review. As of recording this, I did do like a little unboxing video yesterday. If you guys saw that, I hope you're excited for those reviews, as I know I am indefinitely excited for those reviews. But today, we've got the Seth Rollins review that we're going to be doing, as I'm sure I've showed this off in one of the other videos, so if you've watched that and you know what I'm talking about, awesome. You're actually, watching the videos and staying tuned. And if you're new around here, I just got like a bunch of action figures the other day. I've been slowly going through and trying to review them, and of course, because I make poor financial decisions, I got more, and we've got plenty of action figure reviews coming out. It may take me a little bit to get to the pick fed, but in all honesty, I want to take my time with the pick fed, make sure that I do it the way that I feel like I should, and how I want everything to go out. And sometimes I may have to buy a couple of things and wait on doing some pick fed episodes for certain ideas and things of that nature to work out. But enough talk about the pick fed. That's not what we're here for. Today we are here for the Elite Series 99 Seth freaking Rollins. Someone who I've seen live a couple of times in person. Always enjoy seeing him live. In fact, I saw him live last year. I want to say it was last year in my hometown, so that was really cool. I also got to see Matt Riddle. They fought in the main event, so that was pretty neat. Other than that, though, I don't know. I'm really excited to get this review out to you guys, so why don't I quit yapping and let's get the homie out of his plastic prison, shall we? Alright, now that we've gotten the accessories and the Seth freaking Rollins out of the plastic prison, I don't know why I threw my knife at it. That was just like purely impulse. But everything is fine. And these are all the accessories. He comes with... Hold on a second. Jesus, I had to cough. I'm happy I caught myself in time because I was able to pause the video before I thoroughly ruined it, and now can just edit this out. Or I'll just leave it in as funny monologue, and maybe some of you will laugh at my stupidity. Anyways, he comes with two different sets of hands, one set of mic holding hands, and one set of like entrance posing, handshake hands, slappity, chop hands, whatever you want to call these, some chop hands. Either way, he comes with a couple sets of hands, but the main accessory I'm sure a lot of people bought this figure for would be this right here. The nice white leather jacket with the like furish texture right there, and on the cuffs of the jacket and on the bottom of the jacket. Like, man, this also has a lot of like good detail and stuff in it too. This actually, shit, this really makes me happy that I picked the Seth Rollins up, because I can just go through my Seth Rollins bin, I guess you could say, or not bin, but my section in my bin for my Seth Rollins figures, put that on any of my Seth Rollins for the most part, and that'll make it 10 times more beautiful no matter what Seth Rollins it is. And speaking of that, why don't I pop a couple of hands on and we can actually check out the Seth Rollins figure itself now, shall we? Alrighty, you guys, now that we've got some hands in the Seth Rollins, I had to turn the music down a little bit. Let's take a good look at this figure, and first things first, in my opinion, let's take a good little look at this head sculpt. Not a bad Seth Rollins head sculpt. Of course, it's one we've seen before, but this one has true effects on it. I don't know, it's not the worst head sculpt that they've ever had for Seth, and I'm definitely just kind of happy I have one that I can use for like a mid-match Seth Rollins now. Is, let's be honest, I can have him come out with the ponytail, and then at some point during the match he could take the ponytail down and have the long hair. And of course with that he's got his chest hair, kind of a big staple with Seth Rollins in his career so far. He's got his back tattoo, of course, and this attire that is really cool. Like, I don't know if this is supposed to be like a reference or a nod towards anything, or if this is just him making like wacky, cool looking attires that suit his gimmick, because he's just kind of been on a drip hinge, I guess you could say, as of late. The only thing about this figure, and I know it's accurate to the attire, that does bother me just a little bit, I would say has to be this little like knee cuff thing. I don't know what it's for, but I am happy that if I wanted to, I could pop the boot off, take that off, and just kind of have the Seth Rollins attire be the way I kind of would prefer it to be. But you know, it's still obviously a nice little attention to detail. I love how it's its own separate piece, and it's not something that's molded onto the figure. Of course, going into the kick pads though, all white kick pads with the black boots and the golden front plate on the design. I love the texture and the mold in the kick pads too. That's a really nice little attention to detail. Man, this Seth Rollins is actually pretty damn cool. Pretty damn cool indeed. And with that being said, let's get into a little bit of the articulation. Then we can maybe get him up into a final pose, just kind of share some of our final thoughts on him, and we can send this review home. So, of course, he does not look up that well. He can look down a little bit, but the long hair definitely hinders the movement on the head sculpt. Of course, the head sculpt can go 360 though, and there is movement in the shoulder, a little bit stiff on this Seth Rollins, but I'm not complaining. Of course, upper bicep swivel is a thing as well, but a little stiff there too. Now he does, of course, have double jointed elbows, and he does have wrist swivel and ankle bend. I almost said that he had wrist and ankle bend. Yeah, and I'm still kind of getting that wrong. I had to think about that for a quick second. I'm sorry. I'm very tired, and I have to be to work here in a few hours. I never took my nap, so I plan on doing that after this review, but he has wrist swivel and wrist bend. Of course, his waist has swivel, can do a full 360 there. He has the abdominal crunch and the back bend. Both pretty damn solid as well. His legs are fairly stiff, but he can kick up about that high. The important thing, in my opinion, though, is he can do a pretty decent super kick. Of course, as far as articulation goes, he's got a double bend in the knee, and he has upper thigh swivel. He's got kick pad rotation, but it's a little stiff on this one, so it's not as easy to get, but he definitely has it. And of course, you know, going back to earlier, he's got ankle bend and ankle pivot as well, which is kind of a neat little touch that not every figure gets. But yeah, with that, let's get into the final thoughts and the final pose, and we'll just talk about how I feel about the figure. Alrighty, you guys, now that we've gotten the Seth Rollins in a final pose off, I chose Tyler Breeze to kind of include into this segment, give you a little bit of a figure comparison. You know, I also feel like this would be a pretty dope match that we could potentially see in the pick fed once, I get more progressively into the storylines. But yeah, this Seth Rollins figure definitely is a dope one to get. I don't know if I'd say it's his best one, but it's definitely up there. As far as a top 5, maybe not exactly my top 5 favorite Seth Rollins figures so far that I've owned and or used to own. Definitely would say like top 8, maybe top 10. So he's still definitely got a really good spot. I may end up fixing mine up to get rid of the little bulky, get rid of the little bulky knee pad brace thingy there. But other than that, the Seth Rollins figure is really solid. I love the designs on the tights, how the design flows through onto the knee pads, how it switches up just ever so slightly to give us the white, gold, and black boot design, along with the really nice white and black leather jacket with the fur cuffs, and I don't know how they call that. I can't remember. My mind is all over the place. But anyways, with that being said, what would I rate this figure? Well, going based off of how I feel about the attire itself, knowing that I may end up modifying it a little bit, but still knowing how just genuinely solid this figure is, I'm going to give it a good 7 out of 10. I feel like that definitely holds its spot. If not, you know what? No, we'll do it a little better. We'll do a 7.5. Just to give it a little bit more. But other than that, I can't say I'd give it too much more, as they could have given us a better head sculpt. They could have done a little bit more on just the aspect of maybe giving us a set of fisted hands as well, or maybe giving us an alternative head sculpt that's not just the smiling Seth Rollins head sculpt. There's a couple of different things they could have done with this figure, but all in all, I'm not complaining. It's solid. It's going to get used in the pick fed at some point. Just got to build to that point. And with that being said, I gave it a 7.5, so let's give it a good solid 3.5 out of 5 stars. I feel like that's pretty worthy. And with that being said, I've made this video very long, a little bit longer than I think I intended to. It also took me a little bit longer than I intended to, as I got a little distracted. Ooh, that cough almost just kind of came out of nowhere like an RKO. But anyways, before my brain racks up too much thoughts here, like the video if you liked the video. If you didn't like the video, that's cool too. But if you did like the content, feel free to subscribe. It is free after all. So if you want to keep on helping me build up past 100 subscribers, we did finally, reach 101 as of recording this. So that was a pretty neat thing to see. I honestly can't really remember how I normally do these outros, so on that note, I just hope you guys have had a good day, if not a good night, depending on when you are viewing this. And on that note, I'm out of here. I'm probably gonna go catch some good and much needed rest now. Peace out, you guys.